What up, Tucson, Arizona? This is the Call Me Crazy show. I want to thank Dave Chappelle and Marty for making the show possible. And let me grab something real quick. Alrighty, sorry people. Okay, I'm gonna make it real simple for you people out there in TV land. I'm Call Me Crazy, but I'm gonna make it real simple, and it's gonna be in concrete. And let's see if we can get a picture of this thing here. It's not a picture, it gets the fact. There's a total amount of U.S. deaths in Iraq. And as of today, or as of yesterday, we had 2,376 soldiers and members of the armed forces and the U.S. community die in Iraq. And my point is, if I'm correct, I think 9/11, 2,968 people died in New York and Washington during the Trade Center attacks. And my point is, now that we're reaching almost the 3,000 mark in U.S. deaths in Iraq, it seems like President Bush has done more harm, because I'm not saying the people who died on 9/11, they didn't deserve to die, right? Nobody deserves to die unless the day the man up there calls for you. But 2,900 died in New York and Washington, and we went to Afghanistan and we ousted the Taliban regime, and we're still there. And then that's the point of the 9/11. We went to Afghanistan to go find out, go kick some ass and go find Osama bin Laden, which almost 5 years to the day we still haven't found him yet. Now we jump to 03, March of 03, and George W. Bush decided to go invade Iraq, which for me, I cannot fathom the reason why he wanted to go. And now it's 06, April 06, and now we have this amount of more U.S. dead people. The point I'm trying to make, people, is that George W. Bush could have prevented 9/11. He didn't prevent it, and then he adds gas to the fire that's already the fires of hate that's been burning the U.S. for some time now. He decided to go to Iraq and send more people to their death when they shouldn't have. I understand that the U.S. Supports other countries in times of need, and we've been doing that, but there is no reason why we should be over there. If the parents and the loved ones of the people who died are calling for the other soldiers to come home, it's about time they should come home. Things are so much worse now everywhere, not just in Iraq, but it seems the morale of the country toward the administration is like at its lowest low. I think the approval rating for President Bush, Mr. Bush, is I think at 36%, the lowest approval rating ever for a sitting president. So, and also too, I read too that in 20 years in the textbooks in the high schools and elementary schools, they're going to say that the Bush administration was one of the most disjointed, corrupted administration ever to come out of the White House. And I think it's true, because Dick Cheney, we all know that he's the emperor. He's Emperor Palpatine, Emperor Cheney, and he's really pulling the strings on the puppet, aka George W. Bush, aka fucking Darth Vader. But anyway, I just hope that the guy that Dick Cheney shot in the backwood, I hope he recovers, and I hope he does a retaliation hit. You know how the East Coast, West Coast rat wars in '97 were brewing. Let's see if they do that in the White House. And and the White House right now is having so many problems with the leak to the CIA. You have Karl Rove, you have Tom DeLay, you have all these politicians that are finally getting their end of the stick, and they're finally getting punished for some stuff they've been doing for years and years. You know, let's just see if we can impeach George W. Bush. I also read that 5 states in the country has written up legal work to start impeachment proceedings against the president. It should be interesting if it racks up more states. I think it needs to rack up a lot more states before anything comes legal and formal. But Virginia was the last state to sign on, and that was 2 weeks ago. So let's hope that all 50 states will one day unite and all write the impeachment hearing papers for Mr. Bush to get out of the White House. You know, things would have been so different if Kerry was in the White House, John Kerry. I think everything would be running more smoothly. I know for a fact his approval rating would be at 37%. But it gets a sad day of affairs in the White House, and it's going to get worse. And you know, and 9/11 5th anniversary is coming up in September, and it's been 5 years since another terrorist attack on U.S. soil. And you know, some people tend to forget, like in San Francisco, they forget that in 1906, one of the country's worst earthquakes hit. Now people think that was the California version of the big one. And then they also think the 1989 quake in San Francisco was also the big one. But they you know, they weren't prepared in 1906, and we weren't prepared in 9/11. So we gotta be ready, because who knows, people? Who knows? You know, it might be another year, another 2 years. You know, they said they took 2 to 3 years to plan 9/11. You know, those people are all smart. You know, they might not be strong in numbers, but they're still there. They're still out there. And another thing on the subject of terrorism, a couple undercover people who work for the Homeland Security, as part of a security measure, they snuck in 3 dirty bombs. And guess what, people? They snuck it in, these undercover Homeland Security agents. You know, they get tested the border. And guess what? They were able to sneak in 3 dirty bombs through the Border Patrol. So if the Border Patrol can't prevent 3 dirty bombs from entering the country, how are they going to prevent 1 million people a year from entering the country? You know, that is it's such a, everything affects everything now. You know, it's to a point where if one law passes in the Washington, it affects everything, everybody, down from the servant to the teacher to the custodian to the poor guy working at Burger King, or what's the name of that fucking restaurant in the Clerk? Movies? Fucking Movies. If you people know what it is, Movies. But another thing I also want to talk about in Ohio, I think, is a very sad thing, people. Alright, Oklahoma, the land of the Clippers. Oh, but before I leave, I'm going to be talking about this thing. In Oklahoma, in the town of Purcell, a guy went online joking about cannibalism and blah blah, and no one took him seriously, right? So anyways, somehow, as time went on, he kept on joking about cannibalism, and I guess he wasn't joking, people, because you know what this motherfucker did? He went next door and he kidnapped a 10-year-old girl and chopped her to death and ate her. And then here's the thing, people, the neighbors and all that, and the neighbor and his coworker, they say he was a boring man, a boring, quiet man. Yet he joked about cannibalism on I don't even know if it was MySpace. It probably was, but it was on the computer, and nobody thought to do anything about it. And he eventually caught up with them, those morbid fantasies of eating flesh. He said that he went next door, kidnapped a 10-year-old girl, and chopped her up and ate her. And, you know, and what I want to know is, like, you know, is flesh good? I don't know. Alrighty, people, I'm out of here. I gotta go hang out with Dave Chappelle. He's waiting for me in the actor's studio. You know, and you know he don't like it when they call him crazy, but I like it when they call me crazy. Alright, folks, later.